Catherine, is Caroline still there?
Yes, she's still here. Why do you ask? Is something the matter?
Oh, it's nothing, but she said that she would be back by the afternoon. I tried texting her, but I never got a response, so I thought I would text you instead since she went to your house. Did Caroline say what time she was leaving?
Oh, sorry about that, Terry. There's a lot of things around the house that I haven't gotten around to doing. I asked her to help me. Now I feel bad. You both have today off from work, but she's here helping me instead of spending time with you.
Don't feel bad about that. I heard from Caroline that you hurt your leg, so doing the housework must be really hard for you. Caroline said that she was going to help you any way that she could.
I was afraid to lose my precious daughter, so I was against your marriage at first. But I take it back. Her marrying you was the right decision. I'm happily wrong. I'm so glad that I have a son-in-law that understands our relationship.
I'm glad to hear you say that. Actually, can I ask you something? How do you think Caroline's doing? Do you think she changed? Does she seem absent-minded to you?
No, I can't say that I see or feel that she is different in any way. I'm using a cane now, so she's being very attentive to my needs and my being. She's the same as she always has been. What made you start to think that?
It's nothing. If you don't think anything is wrong, we can leave it at that. Sorry for asking you such a weird question out of the blue.
What's that about? If you put it that way, it makes me curious. You can't just ask something like that and then change the subject. I am also your mother now, too. If you have something to say, just come out and say it. Did something happen?
You're right. I'll just tell you then. Lately, Caroline seems to be very absent-minded when she is at home. Maybe it's because she isn't paying attention, but she's getting small cuts and bruises here and there. So I was wondering if she talked to you or consulted you about something that was bothering her.
Really? She hasn't said a word to me about anything that sounds like that. You haven't talked with her about this?
Even when I asked, she wouldn't give me a clear answer. I asked about her injuries, but all she said was that she wasn't paying attention when she got them. She said that they just seemed to show up before she realized she had done something to herself. This behavior is causing me to worry about her more and more. That's why I asked you.
That does sound like something that we should be worried about. But she can be quite clumsy at times. She accidentally hurts herself when she works around the house here. Maybe the same thing is happening when she's at home, too.
That is very worrying. I think maybe she's tired. I've been doing what I can to help her around the house.
Even with your help, has she been less absent-minded? Is she still hurting herself?
Yeah, nothing has changed. And, well, this is hard for me to say, but could she possibly not go over to your place as often?
Why does she have to do that? From our talks, it seems like she's mostly absent-minded around you. There's no correlation between her being here and her spacing out.
That might be true. But my concern is that she's doing the work for 2 households. That must have some effect on her. I can only imagine that it is quite the burden. Most people can barely keep up with the work around one house. Could you just consider what I said? For Caroline's sake.
But you've been helping around the house, haven't you? She's not the only one responsible for everything. It's not like she's helping me because I want her to. I don't know what to say to your request. It's completely up to her.
I totally understand that you're in a tough spot and that you need the help now. But I want to make Caroline's safety and health a priority too. If it turns out that this is just me overthinking things, then I'm okay with that. I'll apologize, and I'll even go over there to help with the housework too. What do you think?
No, I can't agree to that. I don't like how that sounds. I know this isn't fair to you or Caroline, but I need the help. I understand where you're coming from, though. You guys just got married, and you want to spend time together. But you can't just forget about me. Well, I am happy that you are trying to take care of her.
No, it's not just that I want to spend time with her. I'm legitimately concerned for her well-being.
That's nothing to be embarrassed about. You don't need to hide your feelings. How lucky of you guys to still be young and in love.
Could you please try to understand what I'm saying? It's not about that right now. I'm not worried about our relationship.
I'm going to be honest. I'm a little jealous. I want to give you guys time, but right now that's not possible. I'm going to need her to keep coming at the same pace as she is now. I can't change that. That's all. Bye now.
Terry, is Caroline at home now? Hi, Paul. Caroline came home a few minutes ago. She's taking a shower right now, but I think she will be out soon. Should I tell her to call you when she is done? No, that's okay. I wanted to talk to you, actually. Do you have a bit of time now? I hope I'm not catching you at a bad time. Yes, I do have time. I'm free to talk. What do you want to talk about? You probably noticed this too, but lately, Caroline seems to have a lot of injuries. So much so that it's a problem that I can't ignore any longer. Do you know anything about them? I actually just spoke to your wife about this. I've noticed the same thing, and I've been concerned lately. Catherine said Caroline's just clumsy and has been bumping into things and getting scratched up on her own. Is that what my wife said? Yes. When I asked Caroline about it, she said the same thing as Catherine. I am worried about all the injuries, but if that is what Caroline is saying, then I can't really say much. But I think her bruises, cuts, and burns aren't just caused by her being inattentive. So, you have no idea how she's getting all those? Yeah, no idea at all. It could be that she is tired and not paying attention to her surroundings. When she is at home, she becomes so absent-minded. There were a few times when I thought that it was getting dangerous. And what do you think is the cause of that? Have you been causing something to make her worry? Is that why she is always in her own world? For example, have you been harsh on her? Or have you been giving her trouble? Do her actions annoy you? No, nothing like that at all. I wouldn't even think about that. I've been trying to do what I can to help her. I even told her that if she was worrying about anything, then she could talk to me at any time. Is that right? Then I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I'm not trying to make you angry. It's okay. I understand where you're coming from. I'm also sorry that there was some misunderstanding. But this is worrying. Even when we consider how careless Caroline usually is, this isn't normal for her. I thought there was a reason to explain her injuries. But if you don't know what that is... I told this to Catherine as well. But having Caroline do the housework over there might be becoming a burden on her. Are you trying to say that we're causing her problems? When I talked to my wife, she said that it was Caroline's idea to help out. I'm definitely not saying you guys are causing problems. It's true that Caroline is worried about Catherine. But Caroline might not realize how exhausting all of this work really is. So even if it's just for a few hours, is there any way for her to lessen her duties? We can't do that. Why not? We're talking about Caroline here. I know you guys are having a tough time, but it'll be better for Caroline if she doesn't have to do so much. You can't say for certain that we are burdening Caroline. We're her parents. My wife is also helping when Caroline comes over to do the work. We're not forcing her to do anything that she doesn't want to. That might be true, but... You guys just got married not too long ago. It could be the fact that she's trying to get used to her new married life that's causing her to be like this now. If you think about that, it's better that she spends more time at our house. You can say that, but I know she's feeling tired now. I don't think that this is good for her. That's just your opinion. What does Caroline think? What's her opinion? Did she say herself that this is hard on her? No, she didn't really put it into words. Then I don't see a problem if she continues with what she is doing now. If she is finding all of this is tough for her, then she should say something. But I think that her coming home so often is a way for her to relax. I think that even though it is a lot of work, Caroline is finding the time to come over and help her mother out. You think so? I'm grateful that you're thinking about her, but people stress about new environments all the time. It isn't uncommon. I know that might be hard to understand, but please do try. Sorry if that came off as me complaining to you. Anyway, I got the answer that I wanted, so I'm going to go now. Okay, thanks for the talk. But if Caroline does say anything to you, could you tell me about it? Sure, I can do that. Could you also be careful with what you say to her? I don't think you'll say anything harsh to her, but just be careful with your words and don't take any anger out on her. I would never do anything like that. I know, but I just wanted to get that out. That's all. Good night. To be honest, I'm disappointed in you, Terry. It seems like you didn't understand what I said to you. It's so sad that something like this had to happen. What do you mean? What happened? Are you going to deny it? Are you saying you weren't the one that caused Caroline's injuries? What? Caroline got injured? I don't know what you're talking about. Please explain. You knew that Caroline was coming over today, didn't you? When I came home at night, Caroline was wrapped in bandages. When I undid the wrapping, she had a sizable cut and a couple of big bruises. What? Is Caroline okay? How did that happen? Did she go to the hospital? Calm down. I took her to the hospital right away. The problem starts from there. Starts from here? What do you mean by that? Caroline has bruises on her arm and leg, but the bruises are very particular. The bruises are in 2 straight lines. Do you know how they happened? No, I don't have a clue. The most likely cause is by being hit with a stick. In other words, it is possible that someone is hitting Caroline on purpose. Of course, I'm just saying that it is a possibility. But if we consider the timing, she only started getting these bruises after she married you. That's enough proof. Wait a second. Are you accusing me of hitting my wife? I have never done that and would absolutely never do something like that. I do want to believe you, Terry. Really, I do. But I can't ignore all the evidence that has been presented in front of me. It would be harder for me to believe you. What did Caroline say about the bruises? She said what she's always been saying. It happened because she wasn't paying attention. But I'm beginning to doubt that now. It's only natural that I believe that she was the cause of all her injuries to this point. I can only think that the reason she hasn't said is to protect you for some reason. I understand why you would doubt me. But really, I didn't do anything to her. I couldn't lay a hand on her. Could you please let me talk to Caroline? Why are you feigning innocence? There's no way I'm letting you near Caroline again. We're not letting Caroline go back to your place. She's staying with us from now on. Just let me talk to her on the phone. I want to hear from her what happened. I'm worried about her. I know I'm asking for the impossible, but please, let me do this. No way. I didn't tell Caroline my suspicions about you. Even if I told her, nothing will come out of it. She won't say the truth because I'm sure she'd try and protect you. So I don't think it is a good idea for you to talk to Caroline now. Until we decide what to do next, just keep quiet and wait. What is the meaning of this, Terry? This is all your fault. What is it? If you don't explain, then I don't know what is going on. The police came to our house and arrested my wife. Why did they arrest my wife? Ah, you're talking about that. Caroline is still with you, isn't she? Did you not hear anything from her? What does this have to do with Caroline? That means Caroline knows about this. What is going on? I called the police in order to protect Caroline. This is all her mother's fault. Of course she needs to be arrested. Huh. What do you mean, this is Catherine's fault? Weren't you the one that was hurting Caroline? How many times do I have to say that I wasn't the one that hurt her? Only you don't believe me. In the end, it worked out, because Caroline ended up telling me everything. But that would mean that it was my wife that was hurting Caroline all this time. Then why did Caroline not say anything earlier? She should have told me about it as soon as it happened. She was keeping quiet for your sake. She didn't want anything to happen to your relationship. That's why she's been putting up with the abuse. She only told me about everything when she found out that you were suspecting me of harming her. Caroline was trying to protect me in her own way. So, you really weren't the one hurting her. It was my wife all along. I can't believe that this is happening. Your wife being arrested should be real enough for you. I got a call from Caroline this morning and she told me everything. I asked her about her injuries and how it started to happen after we got married. The bruise that she got recently was from her mother. Catherine was hitting Caroline with her cane. Why did that happen? My wife doesn't hate Caroline or anything like that. They love each other like a mother and daughter should. Are you seriously saying that? Of course I am. If they didn't get along, I wouldn't have doubted you in the first place. Caroline was forced to do the housework since she was young. Did you really think that is normal? That was the reason why Catherine was against Caroline marrying me. I would be taking away her slave. You knew that this was going on, didn't you? Well, there was a period of time when Catherine did make Caroline do all the work. But Catherine loves Caroline. Plus, I thought Caroline enjoyed helping out around the house. Don't butt in like you know everything. This is my family. And you're talking about my wife. She is my family too. I will do anything to protect her. Calling the police was an easy thing to do. You, on the other hand, what have you been doing all this time? Did you look away and pretend like you didn't know what was going on? And then you had the audacity to try and say I was abusing my wife. You've gone too far. That's not the way you should be talking to your in-laws. You gave me no choice. You weren't taking care of your daughter properly. You weren't looking out for her. This is the result of your failure. The truth is that Catherine has been harming Caroline and she is the main perpetrator. But you're also an accessory for knowing that this was happening under your roof and doing nothing about it. I didn't think it was getting this bad. I didn't know that Catherine was hitting her and harming her. Honestly, I didn't. I didn't do anything wrong. You're only saying that now to try and save your own skin. But the victim here is still Caroline. As a father, aren't you embarrassed? You tried to spout nonsense about trying to protect her, but you knew what was happening this whole time. This is all my wife's doing. I'm not a part of that. I was also out working. I let my wife handle all the matters of the household. I really didn't know that this was happening. Oh, really? If that's what you truly think, then you can do whatever you want. You no longer have anything to do with Caroline or me. But I will get Caroline back. You don't have anything to say about that, right?
Terry, are you crazy? You're going to pay for what you did.
Catherine, they let you out already? I guess the bruises on her arms and legs were conclusive enough as evidence, so they let you go. I thought that they would release you, but I didn't think that would happen this quickly.
You're talking about this like it's the weather. This is what happens when I'm kind to people. Caroline is at fault too. Do you have any idea how much I had to pay to bail myself out?
Oh, you paid for your bail. Well, you definitely saved a lot of money from not needing a personal servant all these years. You had Caroline, so I bet you could afford bail easily.
Stop messing around. I'm going to make you and Caroline pay me back for it. Tell Caroline that when you see her. By the way, let her know that she left without my permission.
You really are out of touch with reality. Are you saying that, even though you know what you did is wrong and against the law?
You mean Caroline's injuries? Those were caused because Caroline is so slow. I was teaching her a lesson. Haven't you ever watched horse racing? When the horse is going too slow, the rider hits it to make it go faster. I was simply doing the same. But then you go and make a big deal out of it.
What were you thinking? I can't believe you can say that to me and not feel ashamed. Just because Caroline doesn't say anything about it doesn't mean that you can continue with your abuse. Be quiet!
Caroline has always listened to what I had to say. She has always been obedient. But then she goes and marries you, even though I was against it. That was when she stopped listening to me. I was just trying to teach her a lesson. As her mother, I have the right to do so.
Her obedience didn't stem from her being a good child. It was out of necessity. It's from submission. She was useful to you. What do you really think about Caroline? Children don't exist to serve their parents. Do you even know how much pain you have caused Caroline? And I'm not only talking about the physical abuse.
I didn't hit her because I like to hit her. It hurts me as much as it hurts her when I hit her. Stop making it sound like I'm the only one to blame here.
Now I get it. I made a mistake.
You finally understand now. Then hurry up and pay me for the fines. Write me a check for the full amount.
I think you misunderstood something. What I now know is that it doesn't matter what I say to you, it won't get through your thick head. You're crazy if you think I owe you anything.
What? I used money from my retirement funds to pay for those fines. Money that I'll never see again because you made unnecessary claims. It's only appropriate that you pay me back.
It's the other way around. We already talked with a lawyer about this case. We are thinking of suing for pain and suffering. We want you to pay for what you did. What you caused Caroline to go through.
Wait a second, young man. I told you already that I paid for those fines with my retirement money. I don't have any money left to give.
I don't care about how you're going to pay it. To think about all the years of pain that Caroline had to put up with, you're lucky that you can solve it with just money. If it was up to me, you would spend the rest of your days rotting in jail.
What did Caroline say about all this? She has always been kind. There is no way she would agree to this.
Caroline said that she never wants to see you and your husband ever again. She's going to completely cut you guys out of her life, so you can do what you want.
How can she say that about her parents? Who does she think raised her for all these years? She should be paying me back for what I've done for her.
She already did. She spent years listening to you and doing what you said. Now it's time for you to pay for what you did. But it must be so hard for you to admit your mistakes. So I helped you out by telling the police. After that, I took Caroline to my parents' house to escape from hers. We stayed until we were able to find a new place. We found one that is far away from her parents' house. We live a peaceful life there now. Her mother did what she was told to do. She got the money ready to pay for the pain and suffering lawsuit. Maybe they finally realized how wrong they were because her father paid the money in one lump sum and we never heard from them again. The last I heard from her father was an apology and the news that he divorced Catherine. But that doesn't solve everything. We still don't plan on forgiving him. We do acknowledge that he is trying to do the right thing. After the divorce, Catherine had to find a job to pay for everything. She now has to live an extremely frugal life. She got what she deserved. Children don't exist to serve their parents. They shouldn't be treated like servants. After leaving her parents behind, Caroline started to smile more. We were finally able to start our new life as newlyweds. Because we had to move, I also had to put in a transfer request at work. There were days when it has been tough on us, But to see Catherine smile again has made it all worth it.